Nice.
All right. Welcome to the Crucifit Podcast. I'm Crystal.
I'm Aaron.
And we have Christian here today.
Oh,
We are going to dive into this concept of the body as a temple and what that means in the various aspects of our life. So I'm just going to touch on this Bible verse from Corinthians 3:16. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy that person. For God's temple is sacred, and you together are that temple.
ooh.
So, just to kind of start us off. And yeah, just have a list of questions that we'll go through and discuss what it all means to us.
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1, body is a temple. What does that mean to you, and where have you failed at that in the past?
I think it means very well what you just read as far as the Corinthians verse you read. It's something that's been given to you by God and something you need to respect. It very well translate into how well that relationship is based on how well you treat your body. So as long as you're feeding it properly, what you watch on social media, what you listen to on your car rides to work, everything really implies here what you interact with on a daily basis.
Cool.
I think to go a little further on that, I think the Holy Spirit has been instilled in us from Jesus. That was kind of the new covenant to the old covenant, is that we now carry the Holy Spirit around with us as opposed to the Old Testament. And so I think the Holy Spirit that dwells within us, its only way of interacting with the outside world is through our body. And so our body is the temple. The reason we say that is not because it's a church or anything like that, but it is a temple to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit gets the opportunity to live through and guide our life through this body. It's how it interprets and connects and interacts with the outside world. How have I failed? Every way.
Same.
Very true.
Every way, from
Yeah.
both ends of the spectrum. I've overtrained my body to the point where it broke down, and I was doing it out of pure pride and pure ego and broke it down. I've created all sorts of damage through injuries and carelessness and self-sabotage. I've poisoned my body on many occasions with substance, alcohol, name it. So yeah, there's probably not too many ways that I haven't failed in that question.
Yeah, something that comes up for me in thinking about this is the body as a temple is that, gosh, it's such a gift. Like, this is what we were given to experience this world through. And like you said, this is how we experience God because it's what he gave us. And it's just interesting to think about all the ways in which I've also failed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like just think about when you're hungover and how you feel afterwards versus when you get up early and you drink your water and you attack the day with some actual purpose. You finish the day a lot better.
Mhm.
Your overall experience is a lot better. So now you throw God in there and you read your Bible and you pray, you do all the spiritual work. Now you're multiplying it by 10. So it's very obvious why you should treat your body like a temple and keep it as pure as you possibly can. You just perform better, you act better, you are better, and you can change lives in that way.
Why do you feel like we so often don't? Feel like people so often don't? I just feel like there's so many societal things that are telling us all the time.
All the time. And I think it's just, I'm not quite sure. It's just a social construct at this point. Like, let's go to the bar. Let's have fun. Let's get wasted. Let's have a good time. What is fun at that point?
Yeah, a lot of people equate getting drunk to fun.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, there's fun in it.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It depends how far down this rabbit hole you want to go. But I don't think it's a mistake that they want us drunk all the time, spending our Sundays on the couch watching football, taking their medicines that they prescribe, but then staying sick enough to need the medicine. I don't think any of that's a mistake.
Exactly.
It comes down to who's the most controllable person, and the person that's fit, healthy, and treating his body like a temple is a lot less controllable than the person who is taking the drugs, getting drunk all the time. I mean, I just don't, I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I don't think that's an accident.
Well, no, I mean, we saw it during COVID, right? Where they said liquor stores were an essential business and could stay open, but gyms weren't. And then they said pot shops had to be closed. And within like a few days, like, oh, sorry, never mind. Those are now essential too. So things like gyms were not, but liquor stores and pot shops.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear they want us poisoned and they want us fat. Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Right? Easier to control and like
and more dependent.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, they make more money off us if we're buying their shit food and then also their drugs to keep us able to buy the food. Otherwise, the food would kill us if they didn't sell us the drugs.
And in that way, disconnected from God.
Oh, yeah. And life in general. It just numbs you. Mm-hmm. And then you get used to hiding from your problems.
Right.
And then you don't face life as it is. Instead, you just end up sitting at the house drinking.
Yeah.
You're just avoiding anything that comes your way. So
disconnected.
Yep. Fully. Okay,
so the next one is fortification versus pampering, or warrior care versus self-care. Thoughts?
Yes, this is one that I despise to some level. I'll try to not be too dogmatic, but there is this movement of we've spoken about this before, the self-love Sunday, and it grinds me because for two reasons. And the first one being something that Chris Williamson speaks about quite regularly is this type A people with a type A problem and the type B people with a type B problem. What he means by that is you've got people like David Goggins who are out there and Jocko Willink and Andy Frisella that are sending this message of do more, be better, work harder. But that appeals to the people who are working harder, doing more, and being better. The people that need to hear that message don't respond to it. So the people that are working their face off hear somebody like Goggins tell them to work harder and like, I'm going to go harder. But they're the last person that need to hear that. Mm-hmm. The type B people, well, not necessarily type B people, but the people who are on the couch watching the football or kind of wasting their weekends, they need to hear work harder. They're the ones that are hearing self-love Sundays. Mm-hmm. And so first and foremost, I think you got to find out what category you're in and then figure out which advice actually works for you. There are people where this self-care is going to benefit them and make them a better person and connect them closer to God. The problem is most of those people aren't hearing that message. Mm-hmm. The people that are hearing the message are the people that are already not doing enough, and it's reinforcing their own beliefs. And so that gives us the first problem. I think there's that type A, type B problem. And then the other issue is they will call it self-care or self-love, but use toxic things. Mm-hmm. And so that leads to a huge issue in and on itself. You can't be getting drunk on a Saturday night and then saying it was self-love. I was just decompressing from a hard week. I did that for 30 years. Like, I'm not above that, but like working your ass off all week at work and then at the gym and then just daring it in alcohol because you're trying to decompress or unwind. That's not unwinding. You're poisoning your body. You're going backwards, not forwards. You're not getting prepared and ready for the week ahead. You're actually going to hit that with the opposite of momentum. You can move into Monday like a slug. So with those two things, if we remove those two issues, yes, I think pampering has a role to make us better and more connected to God. I just think 90% of the time it's being missed because it's hitting the wrong people.
Then what do you think would be good examples of positive self-care that move you forward?
I mean,
I think going to the gym.
You can go to the gym.
Go on a walk.
Yeah, I think if you immerse yourself in nature, you're off to a pretty good start and don't have anything toxic. So eat something pretty healthy, get outside, either to walk or a run or a rock climb or a rock or a hike. Any of these things, if it's outside, is going to be beneficial.
With people who kind of are on the same page as you.
Yeah, going to church.
Yeah.
That's something that's self-care that's going to help. And not everybody is going to want to go to church, but most of our listeners are. So they're going to be able to relate to that as a good example. But there's other things you can do. I'm not a huge yoga person, but a lot of people think, argue that helps.
Right. Stretching.
Dude, just go to the park and lay in the sun. Yeah. Like, this is the whole point. It's just get outside, get underneath the sun, right? Get some fresh air.
Yeah.
These are good things.
Isn't that like the saying?
Lay on the grass. It's one of my favorite things to possibly do.
So I don't know if it's so much about what to do. It's more about what not to do.
Yeah.
If you're abusing a substance, that's not moving the needle forward. It's moving the needle backwards.
Right.
I think it's also how people get addressed with these type of problems. Some people hear these aggressive messages because they are. I mean, by all means, they're aggressive when it comes from Priscilla. It comes from, you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to work more. They are completely right in every way, shape, or form. But most of these people, they can't take that message that well.
Well, and some people, that might actually be a bad message for them.
Exactly.
Like some people, you're like, okay, let's do smarter, not harder here.
Exactly. When really harder is the way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the sidetrack, but the way to win is to work harder and smarter. Everybody always wants to say it's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's both.
Like, there's some people working smart and some people working hard. The ones that have figured out how to work hard on the right things win.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that simple as mathematics. Like, you can't argue that with me.
I agree.
If you're only working smart, then the person working just as smart but twice as hard is going to beat you. That's mathematics.
Exactly.
So the whole like work harder, not smarter, or smarter, not harder, they're both wrong. The answer is both.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Okay. So question number 3, does the church have a blind spot when it comes to tolerating physical mediocrity? And what damage does that do?
I think we can agree that it does have a blind spot. I've thought about this a little bit, and I think it's because the church is there to help you in other ways. I think it's there to help you spiritually more than anything, to guide you in the proper direction that can lead to improving your physical health. But ultimately, you are there to bond with others and help your relationships with God and with each other. So I think it's more of a gateway to get to a proper spot. So I'm not necessarily sure if it's got a blind spot. It's more of probably like, we know that this problem exists, but we're here to actually help you spiritually, help you with your relationship with God and with each other, and direct you into the direction of becoming better, which will ultimately evolve into the physical capabilities.
I don't know. I mean, I think so, but I don't know that is really where most churches are focused.
I absolutely don't think so. Any good church for sure.
Yeah.
Any good church that is truly focused on your well-being and your relationship with God will lead you in a proper direction.
I think what you're saying is interesting, because we've always looked at, and even kind of the grounds for starting this podcast, we've always looked at like, get physically healthy first. That allows you then attack mental health. And once they're in place, you can then pursue a spiritual freedom. But what you're saying is potentially correct, that you could start with the spiritual health and then that inspire the physical health as a later step. I guess kind of reversing that process.
I can just tell you that when I've gone to church in the past willingly before I fully embraced it like I had, it was because of dark times. So it was because I needed spiritual help.
Yeah.
In which case that actually led me to make my decisions to go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
So on walks and stuff like that. I was already, pretty athletic and relatively good shape, but I needed that more than anything. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so it almost acts as like the launch pad to then clean up the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Not the other way around. Well, we kind of always viewed it the other way.
For us, it was the other way.
Natural progression to getting the other two right.
By all means, you can go the other way as well.
Yeah.
It definitely, there's two ways to this, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of ways.
I think the other part to that question is we see this commonly because we live in a valley where most people are fit. And so they're healthy. I'd rather say healthy than fit, but so we're a little skewed in our view, but I would say the church as an overall, if we take all of America, like that church, I think there is a blind spot there. And I don't think they would be willing to address it because they're more interested in getting more people through the door than they are about getting the right message to the right people. And so if you call somebody out for poisoning their life, which I could tell you, Jesus would call you out. If you were poisoning your life and he came face to face, he wouldn't pat you on the back and say, I keep eating those Doritos as long as you're trying your best. He would be disappointed in the way you're treating the vessel that his Holy Spirit gets to live in. I can guarantee that. My little knowledge of Jesus, he wouldn't be happy. So I do think that the greater church probably is missing this, because the Bible Belt, where the church is at its biggest, is full of people that are like deathbed overweight.
Yeah.
And so clearly they're not delivering the message, or it's not being heard. But I don't think to them, I think it's more about getting people through the door rather than getting people closer to God.
Well, I wonder if the church is affected, just like society in general is affected by not wanting to hurt people's feelings,
100%.
right? Like
Yeah.
where we can't hurt anyone's like everything's offensive. No one's feelings can be hurt, whether it's an objective truth or not. Because, I mean, on a couple different ways, right? Like you want to get Jesus into as many eyes, ears, and hearts as possible, but they also rely on donations. Like churches are funded by donations. So if you have a really hard message to hear, you might not get as many people, therefore not as many donations, which you need to run a church. So
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's tricky.
It's a tough one. I can see that argument, but at the same time, the the establishments where we go to church. So let's not forget what the church is. The church are the people with the followers of Christ.
Right.
What we commonly refer to as church is a physical location where people go to worship Christ. So the buildings where they're trying to bring people in, their role is supposed to be connecting people to God and to deepen the relationship with God of those people. I would like to hear an argument mounted that if you're not healthier than your current state, that you're not closer to God.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because you can look at the fittest, quote unquote, fittest person who looks whatever, incredibly fit, has a great resting heart rate, whatever, and they can have no connection to God.
Yeah, for sure.
But I tend to look at it as the healthier you are, and that because I guess we shouldn't equate fit to healthy necessarily. Because I don't know where I'm going with this, but the healthier you are, the more likely you have a better connection.
Yeah, so like all things being equal, if you've got two people at the exact same trajectory in their pursuit of spirituality and their walk with Jesus, and then one of them, and they're both starting in the exact same place, and then one of them turns their life into like not worshiping, but treating their body like a temple, putting in healthy food, healthy exercise, but also healthy ingestion of the mind, what they're listening to and, the media they're absorbing. And they go that way and the other person goes the other way and then, doesn't ever exercise, eats only junk food. You can't tell me that this person is as close to God as that person in 5 years' time if they've gone on that branch. I think the person who makes the better choices for their own health is going to end up more connected to God. And it's a biological thing. The person who is poisoning their body can't spiritually connect because their body is using every resource to stay at a state of equilibrium, just trying not to die in essence.
Right.
And so if you're using up all of your resources internally just to exist, it's hard to then make spiritual connections because that's more of an advanced being association. And so all things being equal, I think the person who's healthier, not fitter, but healthier, is going to have an easier time connecting or deepening that connection.
Well, and then we've talked about this before too, of like, it's not just being able to hear and connect to God, but then being able to act on whatever work He's telling you to do. And you're going to need a healthy temple in order to do that work. Like it is,
And I was actually going to jump in to a very similar topic and just say that being a biblical person and actually following the Bible and trying to be the best version you can is actually very difficult. Right? It's actually very difficult. So you taking the lazy route and eating easy, unhealthy is the complete opposite.
Or sitting on the couch and watching mindless TV instead of reading your scripture for the day.
So if you can find a church, a group that's willing to tell it to you straight and it's not so much hand holding, then you will experience those type of conversations where it is being told to you straightforward and it's not what you want to hear. So in reality, you don't want to, you almost do want to hurt people's feelings and tell them the truth and tell them, hey, you are not being the best version of yourself. Therefore, you can't be helpful to anyone else. Therefore, you're just not doing anything.
That's like what I always think God is like, come as you are. I love you as you are, but don't stay that way.
Yeah. Put in work. You have to put in work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Okay. So and if so, how has physical training helped you to stand on conviction?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. So I spoke about one time the level 2 training course in CrossFit, and what they really drive into coaching you to be a coach in that. Sorry, level 2. I think I said level 1, but in that level 2 coaching, they're really driving home your relentless pursuit of somebody's movement patterns. And so if I see somebody squatting and they're not squatting correctly in a way that is beneficial, then it's the coach's role to go up to them and give them some sort of cue that then helps them. And then a relentless coach will then watch the next few reps. And if it hasn't improved, they'll hammer them with something else. All right, let's try this. Didn't work. Let's try this. Didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, little bit better. Now do this. Little bit better. Now do this. And now they stay there, hammering that person until that squat looks like the coach wants it to look like. And I see, and so that's like a relentless pursuit. I think from a conviction, I see the same thing in at least coming out in me with my close friends in this spiritual path. If I see somebody who's letting themselves down, I'm not just going to be like, hey, you could be better here, and then leave it. Because that's the difference between a good coach and a bad coach. A bad coach will be like, hey, your squat doesn't look good, try this, and then walk off. But a good coach will not leave until you're squatting the way they think you should squat. And I think that the same thing comes with spiritual conviction. Once you go down the path and then you see your friends who are letting themselves down, you can be like, hey, what you did last weekend wasn't great behavior. I think you can improve on that. And then you see the next week, do it again. The non-convicted part of me would just leave them and be like, I can't help them. But the more convicted person in me is like, no, I told you last week what you did hurt your family and you did it again. Like, we need to stop this now. And what I told you last week didn't work. So here's a better idea. And that's what resonates with me when you ask that question.
Yeah. And I think very much the same. It's holding to a specific standard. If you can't hold the standard during a workout, then how are you going to hold the standard during life? How are you going to hold the standard during work? In your spiritual ways, you know what I mean? And it's that simple. You do a thruster, you can't put your head through. It's not a thruster. No rep. You know what I mean? You show up to work late, you are late. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple. So yeah, I think it just holds a level of standards. So if you can hold yourself to that standard as well, just like you do in your physical training, you're a lot better off at work and life. Not just work, but in life in general.
So I feel like my answer is totally different to this question, which I love. So I feel like my physical training gave me physical strength, which in turn gave me like so much more mental and emotional strength to handle walking this path of becoming a Christian for the first time in my adult life and dealing with the consequences, whether positive or negative of that. Like, I don't think if I wouldn't be at a place where I'm as physically strong, I don't think I would even be sitting here having this conversation, because I think I would have buckled from the pressure. So for me, gaining physical strength has just transferred into pretty much every other area of my life.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
Working on that mental fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
And just like not trying to shrink myself constantly, or like if you don't stand for something, right, you'll like fall for anything. Isn't that an old song?
Yeah.
Or just like blow in the wind with whatever public opinion there is of you or issue or in society or whatever it is. Like for me, gaining physical strength has actually allowed me to stand strong on my convictions, which
like moral convictions.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I could have 4 years ago.
That's
interesting.
And your decisions in general as well. You make a decision and you'll stick with it at that point.
No.
And take the consequences as they come, whether you were right or wrong. But that decision you make, that's what it is.
Like I really think that gaining physical strength transferred into all other areas of my life and has given me so much strength.
That's interesting. I almost had it the flip way, because I had physical strength for a long time, but I didn't have a lot of moral conviction. When I found, since finding Christ, now I have moral conviction. And so it came the same way, but from the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I like that.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I will never, ever not be grateful that I walked into the CrossFit gym and learned how to pick up a barbell. It has like changed my life for the better in every way. Okay. How to silence the inner voice that begs for the easy way out.
Ooh, that is awesome in the CrossFit world.
Mm-hmm.
That is great in the CrossFit world. You're 3 rounds deep. The easy route is just quit. Let's just put the barbell down and wait for the time cap to hit. That's the easiest route you could possibly choose in this world. But no, you can't do that. You cannot. You just got to silence that voice. What's Rousseau say? The bitch voice? You just got to silence that bitch voice and just keep going. You pick up that barbell again. You might have to take 2 or 3 deep breaths, which is just how life is. You might have to take a few moments to just sit there and think about your next decision. But ultimately, you got to pick up the barbell again.
So
you have to keep moving.
how do you relate that to faith? Or how does it relate for you?
Oh, when you find yourself spiraling, you start talking to God. It's really that simple. Life gets hard, and you talk to Him. You pray. You ask for mental fortitude. You ask for a peaceful mind so you can make proper decisions. You ask for His guiding hands to lead you the proper way. And yeah, that's just it. Take a second, breathe, speak, and then just keep moving.
It's me again. Screwed up. Here I am.
Here I am. Take me as I am.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get out of this together?
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
I think it's a skill. Actually, and it is a skill.
Very much
And we
so.
commonly think that this is a character trait of strong people, that their ability and their willpower or their ability to push through hard times is just because they're better at it and they're born with this trait. But it's not how it is. It's a skill that's built through exposing yourself to those situations over a long period of time. And so the people that have been at CrossFit for a long time are able to push through these really hard workouts because they've done it so many times. The people with the ability to push through what others would see as a real hardship in their faith, the people that have done it over and over and over and over are able to push through a lot easier because they've had the experience. So the ability to overcome the challenge and the ability to push through these fortifying challenges comes from practice of doing that. And you can expose yourself to deliberate practices in those. And this is where this connection between working out and life really overlaps, because you can expose yourself to deliberate hardship in the gym, which then preps you to get through hardship that you don't want in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's literally training. You're training, and it gets you through.
Training for life. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Well, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, Aaron, but I feel like we've talked a lot about this too. So it's similar within CrossFit. Like, you're thankful for the physical training because you know it's making you stronger. But when you've talked about like praying and saying like, thank you, God, for this, for what you're forging in me through this hardship.
Yeah.
Similar, right? Like, you know that the only way out is through. And so when you're in these hard moments, like, I think all 3 of us are the same in that we don't pray like, oh God, please end this. Please give me this outcome. Please give me that outcome. Like, we say, thank you so much for being with me through this hard thing and forming me into whatever it is that you're forming me into through getting through this.
Yeah. Because He's going to walk with you.
Right.
He might carry you.
Oh, He's carrying me for sure.
He might carry you for sure, but he'll be there.
Yeah. And that like, just reframing it from why me? Why would you do this to me? Or like a circumstantial prayer to like, thank you so much for trusting me with this, and being with me through it. And
which translating to the barbell is like, all right, let's get
Yeah.
this done.
Because we know that like training hard and breaking down our muscles builds them back stronger.
Yeah.
Isn't that how that works?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think so.
All
right.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Muscles.
And then that is my note of like the inner voice that wants the easy way out, right? And then getting a text from Aaron like, yeah, are you hanging from a cross? No,
Nope.
You'll be fine.
Yep, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it reminds me. We've talked about this before. In an event that I did, a Spartan race, ultra race. So it was a 50-kilometer Spartan event, and that's 30 miles for our American listeners. 50K for my boys back home.
Thanks for clarifying.
I think I was at like 15 Ks into 50K, and I cramped up in both legs horrifically and just flat on my face and no ability to use my legs. at no point does it really, and again, this is a developed skill through the military. They do this on purpose, but at no point did I ever think, well, I have to stop, I have to quit. Even when some clown came up to me, he's like, it's a bit too early to be cramping up.
You're like, oh, thank you.
I'm laying on the floor, like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, thank you.
Not choosing this.
Just having fun.
But yeah, like my mind immediately in those times, whether it's a little harder to do on a spiritual journey or when life really turns you on its head. It's much easier to do when it's a physical challenge, but it still crosses over and relates. But my immediate thought isn't, I can't get this done. There's no way I can finish this race, or I'm not even questioning how do I finish this race. My immediate thought is, man, the story is going to be so much cooler at the end.
I love that.
I think that we can use that. And I have a couple of really close friends who do this with their life, and they base their decision making on what seems scary and what's going to lead to a better story when I'm done. Because when they write their book at the end, you want to at least choose the one that's going to be the better story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel like that's where childbirth is really, like, I think why I liked it so much is having done it 3 times with just naturally and at home, but like the only way out is through. Yeah. And you don't know. Like, at least you knew, like, oh, 50K.
Yeah.
I just have to get to 50K and I'm done. Like, when you're giving birth, you have no clue.
It could be 72 hours.
And you don't have any idea. But the only way to do it is to do it. And, I don't know. I loved that.
I don't know much about childbirth, but I'm sure that once you go through all this hard stuff, you're much better for it too.
Oh, of course.
You're just so a much better person in general. So anyways, like even if you were cramping and you could barely do it, you finish, it's a cool story. You're much better for it. You give birth 3 times, 72 hours. If you went that long,
I didn't.
Much better for it.
But,
it's like going through Lollapalooza. You feel like you're going to die at that. You still feel much better for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to run PT for the military unit I was with, and about once a month. So I had it was a pretty, it was a good unit, and we were treated like men. We were treated like adults, not like children. And so that would be like, hey, you're in charge of PT, take them, do whatever you want, take as long as you want. As long as it was back before lunch, they didn't mind. So I had like a 4-hour window, and maybe once a month I would just say, here are our movements. And I'm not telling you how long this is. It could be 3 minutes or it could be 3 hours. So they have no idea how to pace that.
And
they don't know how to mentally get through it, because they don't know if I'm going to call the whistle at 9 minutes or the whole half the day.
Wait, what was the longest you ever took anyone?
2.5 hours.
I was like, how many movements?
It just reminded me of when you and I were training at the gym. It was midsummer, right? It was hot. We had the garage doors open and everything, and we had finished working out. I don't know why. Maybe we were just in the middle of training for the comp or something. And then it was like, you guys want another one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Yeah, he said, all right, go around to 400, come back.
As fast as you can.
But you said we had to be back by like a minute 30 or something.
Which is fast as you can at that point. Then what was it, burpee box jump overs or something? He was like, and that dude, so many. And he started the clock and we ran off and we came back and we did it. And I was ready to lay on the ground. Crystal was probably dying too. And then Aaron's like, okay, now do that 3 more times.
And you just went and did it. And I was like, I don't understand.
You just took off running, thinking, well, I better get this done.
Yeah. And I just didn't understand. I was like right now? Yeah. Do it again right now.
Exactly.
You're meaning now.
I mean, I think that just bleeds into life. Because, I see hard shit coming up. It's silly, like, all right, I just got to get through this. Like, turn around and just start running.
That took me a minute. I forgot about that.
I mean, it was a surprise. It was a shocker beyond belief.
I think there was a solid 45 seconds where I was like,
and we tried. Like, you're easier. That first round was very easy. Sprinted. There.
Yeah.
All right, go 3 more rounds.
I was like, give me now. That was funny. I forgot about that. Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was a good one. That one got dark.
We just did it.
That one got dark.
Like, all right, here we go.
Thanks,
Coach.
Yeah.
That must have been Monster Games training.
Something. I don't know what it was, but it was hard enough to remember.
That was fun, though. It ended up being fun. Workout. It just took me a minute to wrap my head around. Like, wait, you're telling me now?
To accept it. To be like, all right, I guess I choose death willingly.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
But guess what? Didn't die.
Didn't die.
We're here. Okay. So this one I love. The duty of strength. How do you both see the biblical mandate for men to be capable and strong in order to protect and provide?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite subjects.
Same.
Full transparency, everything that I'm about to say, I have never actually done.
Yeah,
And so that's what's putting it out
as
there.
well. I'm right there with you, bud.
But the Bible tells us that the role of the man is to love his wife the way that Jesus loved the church. And so what we said before, that the church is the body of people, the followers of Christ. And you look at the way that Jesus loved. And so they don't mean this figuratively, they mean this literally.
Literally.
And he went to the cross, which means he sacrificed and was willing to die for his church, which means the man needs to be willing to die for his wife. And then the other things that Jesus did, he took everybody's responsibility. He took the blame. He took on the sins of everybody else and died for it, even though he was the only sinless person. So he's the only person in the history of the world that was without blame, yet he took everybody's blame. And so the godly man in the right relationship needs to take that same role. He needs to be the first to apologize. He needs to lead his family, but then he also needs to be the one that takes responsibility for everything that goes wrong. He needs to be the one that walks to the cross, takes the blame when there's a fight. He's the one that apologizes. He's the one that takes on the burden of the sin, regardless of who commits it.
Of your family, of your church, of your wife, all of it.
Yeah. And so his role is to love his wife in the same manner that Jesus loved the church. And Jesus did a lot for the church, including willing to die. Talk about the country song where he says, there's a line in a country song, I can't even remember who sings it, but he says, I'd die for her and she'd live for me. And that's a really biblical saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean, that doesn't just narrow it down to physical strength. We're talking emotional, mental, spiritual, like all of it. And again, I'm not one of those guys either that does this. It's actually extremely difficult. But yeah, you have to be able to crucify yourself for your loved ones and for everyone that you have. It's that simple. Very difficult, but that simple. You have to be able to do that. So that is the role of a man. You have to be strong all the way around.
You have to be physically strong. You also have to be like in control of your emotions.
Exactly. Yep. You control your emotions, willing to take the blame, allow your family to grow from your strength.
And then you're the protector of the family. And so if you're physically incapable, then you're physically incapable. That's the point. So if you can't run a mile without dying for breath, can you really protect your family?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a couple of situations, but not. There's a lot of scenarios where you're not going to be able to stand up. If you can't pick up your children in one arm, 2 children in each arm, and run and carry with them, you can't protect. So there's a physical requirement to being able to protect your family. Stronger people are harder to kill.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Yep.
Well, and that also then allows the woman in the relationship to be in her role as a female.
Yeah. Completely.
And not having to take on the role of the protector. It allows the children to be children.
And that's what the Bible tells us. The Bible tells us that when the man steps into his role and is able to love his wife in the way that Christ tells us to love his wife, then the female, who is the better, by all measures, is the better sex, they're able to then express their creativity, their love, their joy, their protection of their children, their nurturing. They can, all of the traits that make a woman so wonderfully better than a man is able to be expressed when the man steps in and does his role to protect the family and allow his wife to know that she's protected. If the female has to do the protection, then she can't express her creativity and her love and all the compassion and that soft, gentle heart. None of that can be expressed because she's fighting for her life.
She's not capable of flourishing.
Yeah. And so a strong man, emotionally, physically, and mentally, allows a female to actually be who she's supposed to be.
So be a man and do your job.
Working on it.
I'm trying to. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, being a biblical person is very difficult. By no means is this an easy life at all. So it's a loving life. It's a beautiful life, and it's a much better option than option B.
That one gets me.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So it's great.
Okay. Get it together.
Take a second. Take a second.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So last question. Does a soft body always reveal a soft spirit?
Dogmatic Aaron used to say yes, but now I don't think that's true. Because if you were to counter that, if you were to flip that the other way,
Does a hard body
does a hard
reveal
body
hard
always
spirit?
reveal a hard spirit?
No.
Absolutely not, because I'm living proof that that is not the case. And so if it's not the case in one end, it has to not be the case in the other end. And so I think I really think this ties a bow on what we're trying to say, that you don't have to have a six-pack abs. You don't have to be able to bench press 400 pounds. You don't have to be able to squat 600. These feats of strength are kind of irrelevant. It's the toxic poisoning of the body that needs to be removed, because that's what disconnects us from God. And so I think you can have a soft body, but as long as it's healthy in the fact that you're nourishing it with quality information and quality food and some sort of outdoor exercise, then I think you can have a exceedingly strong spirit. But it's once you start poisoning it with whatever that could be. And you can poison it with the things we've mentioned a million times: alcohol, drugs, unprotected sex, all these sort of things. But you can also, and the mind nourishment stuff, but you can also poison it by overusing it. And so I've fallen on that end of the spectrum too many times, where my pride and my vanity got in the way, and I pushed so hard in the gym that I broke my body. And then I'm still not able to do God's work because my body is incapable of doing his work through prideful conceit. So it's like there's multiple ways to poison the body. So I think, yes, soft body can have a strong spirit for sure, but a poisoned body can definitely have a better spirit. They still might be connected, but they would be better if they weren't poisoned.
A non-poisoned body.
I fully agree. I mean, and even if you just take a look at your day-to-day life and the people you interact with and the men you are surrounded, or the women, I mean, there are so many more people out there that are, I don't want to say better, because everyone is treated equally in the eyes of God, but in the aspect of their spiritual and their spirits and their spiritual journey, like, you have some people that have really got this really hugged down. Like, you can tell their marriage is just awesome, incredible. You know, you can tell that they're great human beings. Do they have six-pack abs? No. You know what I mean? So I fully agree. I think you can have a soft body and a soft spirit, and iron made spirit at that point.
Yeah.
And it can very well be the opposite the other way.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder about this. I feel like when we hear the word soft body, we automatically jump to
Weakness.
Yeah, or like overweight or whatever. I guess what I'm thinking of too is a soft body in the sense of like not having discipline, not having the ability to say no to things.
I think that's a soft mind.
Yeah.
So that might be a different person. Soft mind might be a totally different person.
Oh, so there we go. If you have a soft mind, does a soft mind always reveal a soft spirit?
That I would say probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a soft body, definitely.
Because a hard mind would also be a problem.
Exactly.
So it makes sense on both ends. If you get a hardened mind,
You'd be stubborn.
yeah, you might not be able to connect to God either.
Stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Well, we see that all the time. Like we see that with stuff we're dealing with now. Like if you have a hard mind that is just
stuck. One way.
Yeah, stuck.
It's one way, it's your way.
That's a super closed off spirit.
Yeah. Causes mad problems.
But if you have a soft mind,
then you get trampled.
Right, or you'll go to whatever like whim that you want.
Or go in the direction of the wind.
That's where I think like the Bible gives you that hard, like here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Here's what we're not doing. And when you do it, there's grace, but come back and like come as you are, but be better.
Yep, exactly. Be better.
Yeah. Okay. So to end, one non-negotiable action in treating your body as a temple.
No tattoos. That's what I'm
And we've all failed. I'll read that.
Absolutely.
I think I failed less than you do, though.
Yeah.
I've only failed 4 times.
Yeah. One would say failure is failure.
Great thing.
Yeah, we have definitely failed that one for sure. I think my one negotiable action is
Non-negotiable.
non-negotiable is getting good sleep. Yeah, sleep is crucial. It allows you to just be sound-minded. It allows you to stay calm, think rationally, improve your relationship with God, with others as well. Like, how are you going to handle any obstacle if you approach it with the opposite?
Exhaustion.
Yeah, exhaustion, anxiety-full mind, like just
Yeah, but
running
it's back to being,
wild.
it's a poison.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
toxic to the body to not sleep.
so no sleep. It just doesn't do you any good. So non-negotiable. You must sleep.
Mm.
You must sleep.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Now, does that mean be lazy and sleep all day? No, it means
No.
be responsible
Yeah.
and sleep. Get your sleep so you can put in work the next day and be better.
Cool.
what's your non-negotiable?
Okay, so mine is to treat yourself with the value that you have. So make decisions that honor the inherent value that you have as a child of God. And because I spent most of my adult life not doing that,
Mhm.
yeah, just make decisions that honor that temple, honor the gift that God gave us.
Before I'll close out with some final thoughts, but before I go there, I want to ask you about treating the body toxically from the other perspective. So, I mean, it's natural to think to overeat and become fat.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
think more people not more people, but a massive unspoken group of people deal with
Come from those.
toxic decisions in their body for the other direction.
Right. So I struggled with eating disorders for years and years of my life because there's so many layers to that, right? Like, just wanting to be small. Like my goal was to be as small as I possibly could. I was not raised to value myself or to value my body as my own, as a temple. And so for me, that manifested as like, how can I be as small as I possibly can? And also because I'm at an age where that was like seen as desirable. Like it was hot to be super skinny, that's like what the messaging we were getting was. So it's kind of like twofold, where I was getting all of that societal messaging of like, be as skinny as you can because that's attractive, while also having like the childhood of like not being taught to honor myself. So for me, it's kind of a perfect storm. And I could not have been more disconnected from that. Actually, now that I think about it, when it started getting really bad for me was also the time that I left the church when I was 17. I haven't really put that together before. And it took me it basically took me until like what I refer to as like walking into the gym and actually getting physically strong and changing my focus to then come back to God. That's I've never thought about that timing, actually. That's pretty wild. And also because when you're in the midst of eating disorders, like the focus is all on you.
Yeah.
Like it's 100% like a navel gazing. It's all about you. Like, how can I be tiny? So all of your thoughts are focused around yourself. There's not really any other room to focus on one or anything else because it's like a full-time job.
I'm starting to see the spiritual disconnect. I mean, that's something that I definitely do not do.
Yeah.
See the spiritual disconnect.
It's also, it feels like a perpetual motion sort of thing, because you disconnect from God, then you put yourself at the center, and then you're trying to make yourself small. So you're getting physically weak, which then makes you mentally weak, which then cripples your ability to connect with God. Even if you wanted to, how you can get out of that spiral now, because you're too weak to get out of it.
And but while you're that weak, everyone else is giving you compliments.
Yep.
So you're getting like constant reinforcement.
Solid spiritual.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's constant. I got to a point where I was no longer getting reinforcement.
Yeah, but then you're not treating your temple as a temple at that point.
No, it's not a temple.
You're you're tearing down.
Oh, you're
temple.
ruining it.
Yeah,
You're completely ruining
It's
it.
in turn is you're ruining your relationship.
Mhm.
So then another thing, I don't know if you've thought about this, but it would be worth thinking about. We spoke right at the start about society giving us a deliberate message to make us weak.
Mhm.
Now you say that you were told by society to be skinny.
Yeah.
But if you actually ask individually the men what they think is attractive, not many of them say bone skinny.
No, see, I disagree with that. I think when I was at those ages, they would have.
I mean, all right.
No, but when we were that age, not now. All the men that I was
So
around.
I would argue
Or
that
like-
society presses that message
Yeah.
because they want you weak. We already agreed on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just not seeing it.
But I got
Yeah.
I got the reinforcement in various different ways that I was like looking good.
So then I counter that with, are we not reinforcing fat bodies right now? Prior to Ozempic, were we not reinforcing
Yeah.
fat bodies as being beautiful?
Well, some people.
There was a whole thing called the body.
Yeah, body positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know that those, I mean, I don't know.
If
I
they
don't
create,
think
if society creates something they want us to desire, people will desire it.
I don't know. Because
We're lemmings. We're sheep. We just
Yeah.
follow. So if I'm told enough times that skinny is beautiful, I'll start to believe it.
yes, that's true.
So the messaging is all just messaging.
Right.
And now we're seeing it go fully the other way. And now it's kind of weirdly reversing it.
But I don't necessarily think I think they're unrelated because like at the time where I was really small, I was going to bars and like getting hit on all the time. And I was also not 40. So there's that. But I don't think even the body positivity movement, like I don't think that that's the case for
Yeah.
people who are extremely overweight. I don't think people have absorbed it in the same way.
Probably not.
So I was getting a ton of reinforcement. I mean, there were like parties in college where you would get weighed at the front door. And if you like weighed a certain amount, you could go in.
Mhm.
Like that's the level. That's just like what it was in the early 2000s. And I love that it wasn't like that for you. But I do feel like there was a lot of reinforcement. So it was like society essentially like telling you my behavior was fine so that I didn't see as much of a problem with it too. So I was like, whatever, I'm getting like, there's all these positive things that are happening from it up to a certain point, and then it started getting like really good friends. And like actually like my best male friends at the time were having like sit downs with me. Like, this is not okay. We need to get you
This
some
is gonna
help.
get us off a little bit, but this just made me think about just how great in general fitness, let alone CrossFit, is, because you have strong women that are advertising that it is perfectly okay to be strong
Yeah, they've done
Oh my
body
God.
imaging than anything
Yes.
ever.
and
and-
fit and everything.
like-
it's such a positive movement. It's great. And I think this is just one step in the right direction of reinforcing the idea that it's okay to be strong
Right.
and it's okay not to be skinny, because it really is. It's a lot.
Oh, like it
CrossFit's a woman's
like-
it's a woman's sport.
But I can tell you, it is a daily mental struggle for me.
Mhm.
And I'm so thankful that my girls, like what they see as health is the women and men in our gym
Totally.
lifting heavy, like getting after. Like I had to work very, very hard to not pass that down to them.
But you're doing a great
Which-
job, by the way.
But like
Because
they
mom
get
is strong. I'm just saying, mom is strong. She is my CrossFit partner for a reason, folks.
But they get to see that. Like what I saw was my mom like stopping breastfeeding when I was
Mhm.
6 weeks old so she could take diet pills.
Mhm.
And like my grandma telling me when I was pregnant, like, oh, I only weighed 100 pounds when I was pregnant. And like, well, first of all, that's not true. But like she would tell me that she told me that constantly. Well, not constantly, but a couple times. Just that was the messaging I grew up with. So I'm so thankful that my girls get to see a totally different
I think it's
um,
really cool. That's
yeah,
what-
realm of all of that,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah, I think CrossFit, particularly in the competitive space, the reason this has a healthy edge to it, and there's a lot of there is a lot of eating disorder within CrossFit as well, and some of the professionals have spoken out about that. So it's not exempt from these issues, but more often than not with the high level athletes are coming in to train in order to be better athletes. And then the body just comes along for the ride and it ends up looking like it looks as a result of doing the work they need to do to win.
Right.
the people that are coming to the gym in order to look a certain way tend to fall into traps where it's hard to ever see a finite state where you're happy. And so you want to lose 10 pounds, now I want to lose 20, now I want to lose 30, now I want to lose 40. And it's hard to break out of that. But if you're coming in with one intent, and that intent is to just train in a way that's going to make you a better athlete, and then eat in a way that's going to support that training, the body just comes as a byproduct. And I think that's why there is the female athletes in CrossFit that have paved the way for this, for positive body imaging. It's come as a result of them not starting CrossFit with the intent to have a good body.
Right.
The good body came because they started CrossFit.
I would even throw in the aspect of them coming into the gym for spiritual clarity, improvement as well. I mean, at least going into the gym to just get out of your own headspace and be better there, which not coming in to lose weight. And then, just like you said, the body is a just byproduct of that at that point. But for people that come in with actual good intention, come out a lot stronger and better.
Yeah, it's true. And because you give up quicker if
you don't see results.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think
I think so too.
If you're in search of immediate results, I mean, nowadays, most people aren't going to then be like, well, I want immediate results. I'm going to go work out for 3 years until I can start seeing my muscles. They're going to choose a different route. I was telling someone at the gym, because she started recently, and maybe it was Friday we were talking about it. She said she signed up for the Open, which is exciting. But she's like, I don't think I could do whatever it was. And I was telling her, like, 3 years ago, I didn't think I'd ever be able to do a pull-up. I just thought, like, that's not for me. I can do other things, but I'm never going to be able to do a pull-up. Well, and obviously I can, guys know I can do a lot of them now, but I just think that's so cool when you stick with it, because 3 years ago, I truly thought, like, well, I'm probably never going to be able to do it.
Well, that's the whole CrossFit community too. Like, CrossFit is not meant for pro athletes. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's such a small percentage of everyone who does CrossFit is meant for everyone.
Yes.
The best part.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's about it. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Strength is never a weakness. That's something I just want to lead with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's words I live by. There is nothing in your life that isn't made better by being stronger.
Yep.
You don't have to be strong, but stronger is better.
Physically.
Yeah. It's just always better.
Especially.
Strength is never a weakness. It's a good final thought.
Strength is never a weakness. I love that.
Yeah.
Lift heavy, pray hard.
Lift heavy, pray hard.
Heavy, pray up.